XVI?
It's just 17.
You have been accused of supplying aircraft to the traitor and deserter GENERALRONIMUS.
I don't know what you're talking about, if I'm being completely honest.
Did you or did you not provide these aircraft schematics to the General?
I mean, yeah, I did post it to YouTube, but it wasn't necessarily for GENERALRONIMUS.
Then I hereby place you under arrest for collaborating with a known war criminal.
Come on, this has to be some kind of mistake.
You will be brought back to Imperial Intelligence for further questioning.
I'm just the content creator. I live a peaceful life here.
Captain Phasma, what do we do with the remaining mini-pods? Torch them. Now let's go. Yes, Captain.
Welcome back, builders. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build Kylo Ren's Upsilon Class Command Shuttle in your LEGO Fortnite world. And yes, the wings will fold. Shout out to Legion 17 for allowing me to arrest him in the intro. If you like the mini pod aircrafts in the opening sequence, be sure to check out his channel for a tutorial on those. On screen now are the materials for this build, and you'll need to have the first order build kit to complete this one. You'll also need to use free spin swivels, which are currently much more reliable than the controllable ones, but I've still seen a little bit of odd and buggy behavior at times. So I'll touch on that later in the video, and I'll also continue to update a pinned comment below as Epic releases fixes. If you're loving content like this, don't forget to like, and let's get into this. Starting with the hull. Place a large vehicle jack down and place a foundation column on top. If you're playing in survival or expert, you'll want to build some scaffolding around your build site to help with access. I built 3 staircases up and then placed 16 by 16 floorings in a 6 by 14 configuration around the build site, but do whatever works for you. Snap a foundation 1 block to the side of the column and nudge it forward 1. Place a small thruster on the indent side. Select Star Killer Wall Tilt 6. Point at the small thruster to change the orientation of the build piece. Then nudge it over until you can place against the edge of the column. Select First Order Wall Taper, snap against the side of the tilted wall, and nudge up 2 and place. Rotate and place another on top. Snap a tilted wall to the taper and mirror on the other side. Snap a First Order Wall 6 to the back of the tilt wall, then place a First Order Wall Arch to the back of the wall 6. Underneath, snap a Star Killer Wall Tilt 4 against half of the Wall Tilt 6. Snap a Wall Taper to the side of the Wall Tilt 4, and a First Order Wall 6 to the back of the Wall Tilt 4. Add another Wall Tilt 4 and another taper on the other side. Snap a First Order Wall Curve against the side of the uppermost First Order Wall 6 and nudge it so that the angle becomes flush with the Wall 6. Snap another to the back of that one. Then select the inverse wall curve, flip it underneath, and nudge downward 4 in place, and snap another to the back of that wall curve. Repeat these steps on the other side. Snap a first order wall 2 beneath and flush with the wall curve. Snap and flip a wall tilt 6 against the back of the first order wall 6 to curve the hull back up. To mirror the curvature of the front of the ship, let's use directional building techniques again. Place a foundation piece anywhere against the back of this wall tilt 6, then place a pressure plate facing inward. Select wall tilt 6 again, point at the black part of the pressure plate so that it changes the orientation backwards. Center against the upper first order wall 6, flush with the upper edge, and place. Then we'll snap first order wall tapers to either side. A wall tilt 4 beneath them and nudged out 2. And then 2 more wall tapers beneath and against the bottom wall tilt 6. Now on the side of the ship, snap a first order wall corner piece against the upper wall curve, as close to flush with the top as you can. Then snap 2 of these Starkiller wall tapers beneath the corner piece. Repeat this on the other side. On the inside of the ship, we'll close up the back wall with 2x16 floorings. Point your focal point at the side of this raised edge here and nudge up and over and place. Repeat up to the top of the ceiling, and then use an 8x2 to fill the remaining gap in. Now go ahead and bust out one of these Starkiller wall tilt 4s to make your forward entry. Now at the back of the ship, place large thrusters against the flooring you just placed. You should be able to fit 10 here. Select first order trim 4 and place 2 of them side by side against the top wall tilt 6. Now we're going to make a cylinder shape for one of the engines. Place a first order corner trim against the trim 4, nudged out as far as it'll go. Rotate and place another to the left. Beneath each of the corners, place this smaller first order trim corner, and then complete the cylinder shape with 2 more of the larger first order corners. Place a vehicle base 1 in the middle and as far inward as you can in the engine. Then place a large thruster on that. Now complete the engine by encasing the thruster with 4 more of the larger first order corner trims. Now repeat these steps for the other engine. This is a good time to add our testing steering wheel onto the ship. Use a pressure plate to directionally place a 16x2 flooring, then add an 8x8 flooring on the back of that, and a driver's seat on top. You can remove this from the build when you're done if you'd like, but it gives a good vantage point of the thrusters and wings, especially during configuration. Now I'll fill in this last little gap here in the middle with flooring so it looks like the ship just has the 2 rear thrusters. This completes the hull, and honestly, I love the shape of this so much, I'll probably do another build based off of this hull, but with a different wing concept, especially one that doesn't require swivels. But today, we're here to build some folding wings, so let's get into the wings. Place a small fender on the back of this corner piece, angled down and perpendicular with the corner and this 4-stud gap. Then place another next to that. Now we place a foundation block and 2 floorings, which will create just enough gap for 2 swivels and a flooring piece. Then place 2 more small fenders against the angled wall. Destroy the temporary foundation and flooring. Select the free spin swivel, not the controllable swivel. Position such that the top is flush with the top edge of the fender. Nudge it out as far as you can and place. Then place another facing the original one. Now select this 4x2 flooring, position it centered and on the edge of the swivel, and wait until the swivel turns enough for you to place. Snap another underneath. If your swivel stops spinning, you could walk on top of it or replace it to get it turning again. Now place a pressure plate on the back of the flooring and overhanging a bit. Then you'll use this to place one more flooring but facing the opposite direction. Flooring should be pointing down at this point, so place a vehicle base 1 on the edge here and then a balloon on that to get this hinge to face up. Underneath, place 2 more small fenders at the bottom of and in this gap between the other fenders. Then place a small fender on the bottom edge of the flooring and nudge inward too. Do this for the other side. This will ensure that only durable fender-on-fender contact occurs no matter how far the wing folds during flight. Now let's build out the wing. Select this black first order wall taper. Point it at the bottom of one of the floorings, then nudge and place right next to the fender. Repeat this on the other side. Going forward while you're working on the wings, be sure not to accidentally place a wing piece too close to your scaffolding, because if it touches and attaches to a grounded brick, your wing will become grounded as well, and all of the balloons and thrusters will burst. I'm telling you this from experience. Now place another black wall taper nudged up as far as it'll go, and then down one, making the tapered wall flush. Do this for the other side. This will be how you place the rest of your black wall tapers. Now place a pressure plate on the side of this wall. Directionally place a 12x2 wall column. Then 2 16x2 floorings on top of that. Place one more pressure plate facing downward and then use this pressure plate to flip and place your black wall taper flush against the black wall taper underneath it. It should be flush or slightly inward, but not overhanging. Use this same technique on the back of the wing. clean up this column, flooring, and pressure plates you used for the directional building. Now you're going to continue this pattern of black wall tapers 4 more times on either side. Center and place 2 vehicle base 1s. Snap a pressure plate to the side of the base facing outward or downward at this point. We'll use this to fill in the wing with black flooring, and there's an easy to follow pattern to do that. Start at the top edge of the wing, and centered between the 2 black wall tapers, place a 16 by 16 flooring. Then snap 3 more beneath it. Now snap a 16 by 2 against the second 16 by 16 flooring. Nudge up 2 to fill the gap in place, and snap another next to it. Snap more flooring to fill in beneath it, and then repeat the pattern. Snap a 16 by 2 against the edge of the outside of the 16 by 2. Nudge up 2 to fill the gap in place. Snap another one next to that, and so on. Once you follow the pattern to the bottom of the wing, the last 2 floorings only need to be nudged up 1 to fill the gap. Now repeat this for the other side of the wing. Fill in this remaining gap here with more 16 by 2s. For the balloons and thrusters, we're going to start with the balloon mounts only and then switch to thrusters, configuring them as well while the wing is down and easy to access like this. So position a vehicle base 3 next to this black wall taper and flush with the top. Nudge down 7 studs and inward 1, and then snap another one next to that one. 7 studs is enough to fit a small balloon. Repeat this 2 more times. For the last row of vehicle bases, you'll actually nudge outward 3 so that you can fit 3 bases instead of 2. Now place a large thruster beneath each of these black wall tapers. Skipping the topmost large thruster, place 2 more large thrusters facing inward beneath each of the downward facing large thrusters. Repeat this for the other side. Beneath the bottom row of vehicle bases, fit as many small thrusters as you can in a row. Now revisit the topmost large thruster and place 6 small thrusters against the flooring on either side. Now let's configure the thrusters, and I encourage you to take as much time as you need with this. Set the large downward facing thrusters towards the front of the ship to channel 1. Set the top left small thruster here to channel 2. Set the large inward facing thrusters just beneath the downward facing thruster to channel 1. Any thruster not touched is being left on channel 3 on purpose. On the back side, it's the inverse. Large downward facing thrusters are channel 2. The top right small thruster on the flooring is channel 1. The large inward facing thruster just below the downward facing thruster is channel 2. And one caveat is that the second inward facing thruster below each downward facing thruster should be set to channel 4 to act as reverse thrusters. For the row of small thrusters here, set the front half to channel 1 and the back half to channel 2. Now, I would encourage you to pause the video here, go back through and check all of your thrusters one more time before moving on to the balloons, as the thrusters are a lot harder to check once the wings are vertical. Now, for the balloons, you should be able to snap and fit 7 small balloons on the first 3 rows of vehicle bases, and while you're up here, go ahead and break this topmost vehicle base and pressure plate. Then add an inward-facing pressure plate for use when we get to walling in the inside of the wing. At this point, you're going to have to jump down, and I forgot to remind you to have a glider on you, so hopefully you have one. Hop down and fill in the rest of the balloons. You should be able to fit 10 on the bottom row. Carefully break this vehicle base here at the bottom, and let's test the thruster configuration. Channel 1 should engage the forward lift thrusters and forward upper inward facing thrusters. Channel 2 should engage the rear lift thrusters and rear upper inward facing thrusters. Channel 3 should engage your main engines and 3 of the large thrusters on the wing, as well as 10 of the 12 floor-mounted small thrusters. Channel 4 should engage the 3 reverse thrusters. Alright, we're ready to wall up the inside of the wing. You may have to add additional scaffolding to be able to place at the top of the wing. Again, just make sure that your scaffolding does not touch and accidentally ground the wing, or you'll have to start the wing over. To wall in the wing, you'll repeat the same steps as the outside of the wing, placing 4 16x16s down the middle. Then 2 columns of 16x2s on either side, nudged up 2 studs to fill in the gap, and repeat the pattern until all the gaps are filled in. Fill in the last gap with 16x2s. For the last step of the wing, you'll want to place a launch pad and jump up to the top of the wing. Carefully break the vehicle base and pressure plate, then place 2 16x2s to fill in the top of the wing. Lastly, center and place a 12 by 2 on the front. Now you're going to repeat everything you just did for the first wing on the other side. You're probably tired of hearing me talk by now, so I'll let the video roll at normal speed for the second wing, but I won't add any commentary since all of the steps are a mirror image of the first side. Boo! Did I scare anyone? I'm sorry. That was not cool. Let me put on a nice relaxing track to finish out the wing with. Alright, the hard work is done. Let's have some fun with decorating now. Now I realized as I was editing the video that these lights I chose for the headlamps are not actually first order kit, but rather Mos Eisley. So I apologize for anyone who may not have this piece. You'll have to choose another headlamp of your choosing, but there really are no restrictions here. Underneath, I placed a pressure plate and flipped this first order mess hall table to use as landing gear. It's perfect because it has a little extra durability since it's made partially of metal. On the interior, to make the holding cell poor Legion gets locked in, you'll want to place a pressure plate against this upper wall here, then use it to directionally place a first order laser barrier. Then select a flooring of your choosing, point your focal point to one of these bricks up here to flip it to face you and fill in around the laser barrier. For troop seating, I used a pressure plate to place a 12x2 flooring on either side of the room. Then, placed 3 first order conference chairs evenly on either side. For the cockpit, I directionally placed an 8x8 flooring here above the front entrance and then placed a driver's seat on top of that. And I added some first order dorm computers on the wall here for the commander's console. Lastly, I placed a first order probe droid here as the acting co-pilot. Alright, let's remove the jacks and take this out for a test flight. I'll be flying from the rear testing seat to get a better view of the ship for this test flight. Channels 1 and 2 lift you up. Channel 1 alone turns you right. Channel 3 is your throttle. Although, I'm not sure why it's curving to the right like this. Alright, let me take the ship down and double check my configuration. I've opened up the wings and checked every single thruster. There's nothing wrong with the configuration. I feel like I'm going crazy. It seems to be another one of those weird swivel behaviors that I told you about at the start of the video. In this case, the faster I travel, the more the swivel seems to cause the ship to bear right. Something the previous 5 shuttles didn't deal with, but each one has been a little different as I made improvements. I've been testing for about an hour. My best recommendation is that if it starts to drift as you pick up speed, use channel 2 to counter the drift. If you need to take a sharper turn to the left, disengage channel 3 before doing so. The last oddity I've observed with swivels is depending on your elevation. They can cause your ship to slowly spin after you've landed, so you may want to plan your landing pad accordingly, like shown here. When you leave render distance or log out and back in, the behavior stops. I will open a bug ticket with Epic for this and the previous issue mentioned and keep y'all updated in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching until the end. This is the longest tutorial I've done to date, so if you complete this build, please let me know about it in the comments section. Don't forget to catch the mini movie at the end, and until next time, have fun building.
Hey,
What? Are you talking to me?
yeah, how do I get my hands on one of those mini pods? They look pretty sweet.
I don't think I'm supposed to be talking to you.
Come on, don't worry about her. She usually ignores me anyways when I'm talking. See, watch this. Hey, Captain Phasma, how far out are we?
Idiot. So, how do I get one?
Just look up LEGO Fortnite Best Mini Aircraft on YouTube.
Thanks, you're the best. Sorry you're getting interrogated. I'll make sure they go easy on you in processing.
Sure, no problem, man. Anything for a fan.